party people. Welcome once again to the Party of One podcast, the actual play RPG podcast where the gaming table is always set for two. I'm your host as always, Jeff Stormer, and this week on the show, I'm joined by my good friend Mikey Zee for a game of Tag Team Tag. Tag Team Tag is a hack of Honey Heist by Grant Howitt, in which players take the role of super cool tag teams of super cool wrestlers, taking part in a new reality game show where the goal is to chase down the previous winners and steal the belt from them. It is a ton of fun. It has a ton of wrestling flavor in it. It is a very good, very kind of wacky, madcap time, and I genuinely adored playing it. You can find more about Tag Team Tag in the show notes. Mikey is a wonderful game designer. He is also one of the hosts of Match Club, a podcast about telling the stories of famous wrestling feuds like the Golden Lovers, which is a feud very close to my heart, Triple H versus Mick Foley. Big historic matches with big historic feuds behind them. I love it. I can't recommend it enough. I would love for you to check out Match Club. As go as follow Mikey's other work. He is wonderful. You can follow Mikey on Twitter at quantum. You can follow Match Club on Twitter at matchclubpod. And you can go to superkick.party, which is a URL that was available, and I'm so glad that Match Club was able to get it to hear the Match Club podcast. Two quick things before we dive in. First, a special thank you to August Gates, our newest backer on Patreon. Thank you so much for supporting the podcasts I create, the games that I write, all that kind of good stuff. You can learn more about how to support the show at patreon.com/JeffStormer. And second, as always, a standing offer if you would like a professionally laid out copy of the world's first, foremost, most famous, and only Olive Garden LARP, as well as a bunch of other games that I've written, because why the hell not? You can send me proof of a donation to your local mutual aid fund, bail fund, or charity supporting the Black Lives Matter protest. Send me proof of a donation. I will send you a bunch of cool things. This is literally, at this moment, the only way to get the official PDF of the Olive Garden LARP. So if you would like that, shoot me an email at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. And with that said, let's go ahead and throw it over to me in the past so that he can get started with the show. Take it past me. Thanks, future me. This week, I am so excited to be sitting down with Mikey Zee. Mikey, thank you so much for coming on Party of One.
Thank you so much for having me, Jeff.
So, real quick, at the top of the show, before we dive into this week's very fun game that I'm extremely excited about, why don't you take a moment and let the lovely listeners at home know about anything you've got going on you might want them to know about?
Yeah, so my name is Mikey Zee. I use he, him pronouns. You can find me on Twitter at quantum. I'm a tabletop role-playing game designer, graphic designer of many things. And I also have a podcast that was started not that long ago called Match Club. You can find that at Match Club Pod on Twitter. And that is a podcast from Fight to Feud and Back Again, a wrestling stories podcast by two queer podcasters. And we've been doing various stuff. We put things on hold, had kind of an interstitial episode because things have been going on the internet as they are with a lot of things right now.
Yes, that is true.
But fairly soon we will have a podcast chronicling the feud between Mick Foley and Triple H.
Hunter, that's a good feud is the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really excited to do that one.
Oh, that's a good... Specifically, like, are you specifically talking like Royal Rumble 2001? Is that 2001?
Like the Hell in the Cell and the street fight.
Yeah. Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
That's such a good moment. Like, that is a moment that I love dearly.
It's so good. Yeah, we've already done Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose Hell in a Cell, and we've already done Sasha Banks and Bayley's NXT feud, where they were the first main eventers women in WWE history. So
my favorite, honestly, my favorite match of all time, or probably my favorite single match of all time.
It's so good.
Is them in Brooklyn is like my favorite of just everything about it, and video package entrances to hugging it out at the end is probably my single favorite match of all time.
Yeah, it made me like tear up, which is
it's so good. Is the
not
thing.
A usual thing for me in wrestling. Like even going to a show live, I thought I would tear up. I didn't, but I did tear up at Sasha and Bayley. It's
perfect. I feel like I know that we have a game to play, and I'm excited to get into it. I'm gonna not sit here and gush about this match for the next 45 minutes. So
we could, but
we could. I will say I watched that match. I want to say it was either on my birthday or immediately before that. And like I watched it curled under a blanket, like biting my nails, like you have to win. It transported me to a pure state of wrestling fandom that like is the highest praise that I can give it.
Yeah, I will try to channel some of that good energy.
I'm feeling it. Now that I'm glad that we talked, got to gush a little bit, because I feel like it's put me in the space to play this week's game, which is Tag Team Tag, a game about wrestlers but not about wrestling, based on Honey Heist by Grant Howitt. The premise of the game is that we are on a reality show where. So I guess first question I want to throw to you: are we a tag team working together?
I would like to be a tag team.
I was thinking that's
together.
what I felt the same way. I wanted to make sure.
Okay.
So we are a tag team of wrestlers on a new reality show where we have to hunt down the current champions who hold the belt and steal it from them. However, then next week we become the hunted and have to defend our belts from being stolen by other tag teams. So that's the premise in a nutshell, which is just a really, really can't miss premise.
Yeah, as I can't remember if it's my partner or someone else said, but Total Divas is a distillation of the best parts of WWE because it's just all the drama.
It's the best.
Yeah, so same kind of energy here. If folks aren't familiar, Total Divas is a E! Network TV show produced by WWE where it's largely female wrestlers just having relationship drama and work drama and stuff. So it's like all the behind the scenes stuff, but that's just the show.
And it's great because it's like half in kayfabe and half not.
Yeah.
Where they'll be like, well, this is a storyline where I'm gonna turn heel and I'm really nervous about it. But also, this person pissed me off and I'm gonna fight them in the street. And I'm like, this is great. This is a treasure. This is everything that I want in wrestling.
Like, it's terrible, but also amazing.
It's so yes, exactly that. And the big I'm gonna be channeling some Total Divas, Total Bellas energy today. Now that you've put it on the table, I'm ready. I've been prepping for this moment for a long time. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to create a tag team. We're going to create 2 wrestlers. We have some random tables we can roll on, or we can just make some choices. I'm going to be rolling on tables because I always roll on tables.
Yeah.
And then we are going to chase down a belt and steal it. And then I think what I would like to do, I'm going to throw this to you at the very top. I think I'd like to play this in 2 parts, where we both steal the belts and try to defend them.
Okay.
I think that feels right given the premise of it. That feels like it would be the most fun to me.
Yeah, I'm down for it.
All right, cool. So do you want to roll some dice and come up with a wrestler?
Hell yeah. I never get to roll real dice. I mean, I could, but I usually don't, so I'm excited. All right, that is a 1.
So your demeanor is goofy.
Yes. I'm going to write this down too, because just in case.
Goofy wrestlers are my favorite wrestlers.
Sport obsessed.
Oh boy. Oh, it's a good gimmick.
All right. And last one. US megastar. Your appearance matters above all else.
Those are 3 very good options. I don't know if you've got something for that, or if you want me to roll my dice and then we'll brainstorm it together.
I have some ideas, but I'll let you roll first.
All right. For my demeanor, I rolled a 4, which is mysterious. Oh, that you can't go wrong with a mysterious wrestler. My gimmick is, in quotation marks, alternative. And my wrestling style is old school British. Oh, that's very good. Wrestling is your life and it is all real. Old British carny wrestler?
A mysterious alternative British carny wrestler.
Yep.
So I am not sure how we will fit together quite yet, but I'm thinking, I don't know how familiar you are with like Ring of Honor or AEW, but there's this wrestler Scorpio Sky.
Oh, Scorpio Sky, of course.
Yeah. So he's from SCU, SoCal Uncensored, and he's kind of goofy, but he's like obsessed with like basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking, the problem is I don't know a lot about basketball.
I don't think that's so much, because Honestly, the idea that your wrestler also doesn't know a lot about basketball is, in fact, very funny.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I just got another idea.
All right, hit me.
So, because you mentioned not knowing, so Kenneth Omega, his gimmick before he was
you mean
like
my son? My
Yeah.
beautiful son?
before he went to Japan, or like before he had like the gamer persona, he was a surfer wrestler.
That I forgot
But
about.
he didn't know anything about surfing, and he lives in the middle of Winnipeg, Canada.
Yep, that he did. I forgot about Surfer Kenny. I forgot about sweet, sweet Surfer Kenny.
What if I was obsessed with surfing?
That's very good.
Because I feel like that's a goofy enough, like it is a real sport, but it's goofy enough that it could work. Because all you do is you like throw in some like Scooby-Doo Shaggy-isms and then you're golden, right?
Then you're locked in. Yeah, then that can you've already conveyed to me that you have a grounding in surfing.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I figure we'll figure out gender later, but I figure like once I'll let you kind of dictate that, but I think a goofy surfer wrestler that's obsessed with appearance, like
I love that.
Definitely that like SoCal mindset. Yep. Listen to too much Weezer, you know, all that. I'm sorry, I'm name dropping a lot of stuff.
No, it's fine. Honestly, it's putting me in a specific frame of mind, which I feel like is exactly where I want to be. So I've been looking at my 3 results, and I think I have a good handle on it, and I have a proposal for how we connect together.
Okay.
I want to say something that I think about a lot is I love when old wrestlers mentor a young wrestler.
Yes.
Anytime it's like, this is the person that's going to take my place, and like, especially when it doesn't quite work or doesn't quite fit, but they're like, but the people writing it are like, yeah, this person's definitely going to pass the mantle to this other wrestler.
Yeah. Thinking like Mox and Shooter, like there's been a lot of those, yeah.
Yeah, so I want to propose that I am like an old, extremely old, like World of Sport, like black and white era, like British grappler.
Yes.
That, like, you're goofy surfer, I am like hovering over your shoulder like Emperor Palpatine.
Yes. I'm down with this.
It was originally intended to be like, I'm gonna like train you and make you into like the new me, but like as we've teamed together, it slowly just turned into, I'm just sort of your old weird friend. In the way that like those great goofy tag teams always do.
Yeah. We go to Chili's together, you know, it's fine.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a very good vignette where we're in a Chili's and I'm like in a robe with a hood over my head like, Yes, I will order the Fiesta Feast. Yeah. All right.
Oh, important note. I don't think we read like the lead-in to this game.
Oh, we did not.
Because I have a question. I feel like there's a rather obvious pronunciation of this wrestling promotion, and I was going to ask if you're okay with going with that.
Okay, let me read the opening.
Okay.
Omnificent Wrestling Organization needs a hit to drive customers to their new is OO Pass?
Yeah.
Is that what we're going with?
If they're okay with that, yeah.
Oh my god, I'm completely okay with OO Pass. OO Pass online pro wrestling subscription service, and Tag Team Tag is it. To quote the sales pitch, Tag Team Tag is a new reality show where 3 extreme tag teams hunt down our badass belt bearers. The first team to get the TTT belt are the champions, but next week the hunter becomes the hunted. First off, that's a good pitch. Second of all, yes, I think it's I'm reading it very strongly as OO Pass.
Yeah. Because I now have to come up with a super cool wrestling name that would look great on a wide range of affordable OO merchandise.
Yep. I think my only merchandise is just a god awful t-shirt. Like just a really bad. You know the kind, right? You know a bad wrestling t-shirt, like too much stuff. There's a lot of stuff on the back.
Like someone went ham on like the grunge textures in
Yep.
Photoshop, and so it's like more that than it is any message, really.
It is specifically. Mikey, can I tell you about a real T-shirt I found in a Goodwill one time?
Absolutely.
It was an Iron Maiden T-shirt where the front of it was Eddie, the mascot of Iron Maiden, like stirring a cauldron, and it was literally like shoulder to waist, like a full like painting in oranges and purples of him stirring this cauldron. And do you know what was on the back?
No.
The same painting.
Oh.
It just, you flipped it and it was, it's that again, which I think is what I want to channel here, is it's like a real grungy, awful picture of me, like, hands crooked, and then you flip it and it's just the same thing on the back. Everybody's getting the same visuals. And then also an action figure, which is in the vein of every great robed figure's action figure. Basically unmovable.
Yeah, I think the worst bit of wrestling merch that I've ever seen is a belt that is, it's soap. It's talking soap, and the soap dish holder is the WWE title belt, and it's Stone Cold Steve Austin. It was vanilla scented. My partner found it
the
for
the scent of Stone Cold, sure.
Yeah, fake vanilla. Yeah, so yeah, you know, sometimes merch is good, sometimes merch is bad.
Yep, exactly. God, I love professional wrestling.
I think I have a name.
All right, what's your name?
What do you think about Garth Neptune?
I love it. I love it more than anything, I think is the best way to say it.
I Googled for surfer names, and I got an article from yahoo.com that's aquatic surfer kid names for your beachy baby boy. Or I sang that 3 times fast, but
Yeah.
It gave me what I needed, so.
It got you over the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was randomly going through an ongoing list I keep of professional wrestling names, and I landed on Quorum Decorum, and I really like it.
That sounds really good for this character.
It does. I'm gonna go by Quorum Decorum. I think I was at one point like a judge. Like I had a wig that I would wear to the ring, but now that I'm older, I've stopped wearing it because backstage I was like, it's hot and sweaty, and I throw it out to the ring. I throw it out of the ring every time I step in the ring anyway. But then they eventually replaced that with a hood because I was getting bald and self-conscious.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm wearing this full like Emperor Palpatine cloak.
Can I throw something out there?
Yes.
Part of that whole gimmick, my thought is, especially with the alternative, you realize that there was no justice.
Oh, that's
So
right.
you-
Yep.
Threw off the robe and the cloak, and
Oh,
now
that's
it's just
very good.
or the wig.
Yep. But I didn't change the name because we're like, no, that name is locked in. That's what people know you as.
Yeah, you've got a copyright on that name.
Yeah. We can't recall the action figures.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but that also gives me the idea that like the action figures of me in the Palpatine robe like aren't accurate to what I'm actually wearing, which is now like a sleeveless vest and jeans. And so like all of the merch is this older version of me that like does not work anymore, but like we can't stop selling it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just that great thing of like, you haven't looked like this in 2 years.
Yeah. So it sounds like we've definitely settled on like men's tag team.
I think so.
Yeah.
I feel good about that. If you're good about that, I feel good about that.
Yeah, I feel good about that.
All right.
And both he, him pronouns?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
So, okay. So we've got our characters. We've got our premise. What's going to happen? Like I said, we are going to chase down and steal the TTT tag team belts. And the way that we're going to do that is we are going to roll some more random tables to figure out like where our episode of TTT is being held, where we are chasing down our rivals. Our rivals, we will figure out their names and gimmicks on the fly as we go. So I'm gonna roll. I think we'll go back and forth and roll these tables together, if that's cool with you.
Okay.
So I'm gonna roll. This week, our episode is being held a wrestling arena. That's boring. I'm gonna re-roll that. I see an offshore oil platform. Now that's money.
Yeah.
That's where the magic is.
All right, let's see what I get. Flooded.
Oh, that's very good. Oh, also very good. And so if we win this, we not only get the belt, we also get ownership of OWO. Oh, I have a pitch for that if you'd like to hear it.
Sure.
I think I argued for that. I think I like hustled us into getting that opportunity.
Oh yeah. And it was definitely filmed in like a backstage segment, right?
Yeah. Oh,
like it's
yeah.
a closed room deal, but somehow there's a camera there. Don't worry about it.
Oh yeah. Yes, there's that. It was one of those like vignettes where like the camera pans up just as I'm shaking someone's hand, be like, "So we have a deal."
Yep.
Zooms in on me, crossing my arms, close in on the face, fade out.
Are you okay if I go ahead and roll this and say the GM's heel turn openly? Because
Yeah.
I feel like we can play that up while everybody is aware.
I think that works. Yeah.
All right. So the belt has gotten lost. Did someone throw it in the ocean?
Oh, yes. I mean, I think like. Yeah. Oh, that
is it
feels
like a
really
Stone
good.
Cold Steve Austin moment where he threw it off like the San Francisco Bay Bridge?
And it is washed up in this abandoned offshore oil platform.
Yes.
Oh, but here's what I like about that, and I want to throw in a twist, which is that no one has the belts, and that this is one of those like 15 teams are all like on their own boats, like zipping towards this oil platform.
Oh, so it's like a literal battle royale. Like I'm picturing, I got up to some stunts and boats when I used to play PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. We're having a boat party situation.
Yeah. Oh, very much so.
Have they called in like a helicopter that says it's the Coast Guard, but it's actually just like an executive helicopter?
Oh, the helicopter's another tag team.
Oh, of course, right.
The Coast Guard, spoiler. I don't mean to spoil it for the both of us, but that helicopter's gonna land and two wrestlers are gonna come out and we're gonna go, no! Just feeling
right.
it's important to like put these things out there early so that when we feel like the moment is right.
Yeah.
Oh, so I feel like I'm ready to get into this.
Same.
I think that we are not on the oil platform yet. I think if everyone is zipping to it, I would love to start out by like being somewhere on land and working out how we're going to get to the oil platform.
Yeah. I want to say like we've rented a boat or maybe I don't know. Maybe you have one. I don't know. But I am definitely like hooked up behind the boat on like a boogie board situation.
Yeah.
Like I forget what you call that, but I'm getting all set up to trail behind the boat and do some sick flips.
Oh, but it's a very good visual. I'm gonna make my first roll here.
Okay.
Because so rolling in tag team tag, it's based on Honey Heist. We each have two stats. We have show and we have throw. Showing is anything that has to do with utilizing our character personality or gimmick, and throw is anything that you need a gym-honed body for. We're going to roll a d6 if it's equal or under the relevant stat. So I'm going to... I'm going to say this doesn't connect with my style or gimmick, but I do want to roll show specifically to obtain... in the vein of, like, a former judge, like, a proper yacht. I
feel like that's gimmick.
Alright, then I'm gonna roll 2d6. But especially just because I feel like the visual of you surfing behind, like, or not even, like, a full-size yacht, but one of those tiny little, like, nice, like a pontoon.
Yeah.
Is very funny. So I'm gonna roll. If I get one under a 3, then I succeed. That's a 4 and a 6.
Oh no.
So what goes wrong?
On a failed roll, you make a fool of yourself on internet streaming TV and move 1 point from show to throw.
All right, so I'm going to bump down my show to 2 and my throw to 4. And I think how it goes wrong is... I think I have a pitch if you don't.
Yeah, go for it.
I think that because I have renounced the legal system because there's no justice. I like my boat has been repossessed. So I arrive. So we open on a stick of us being like yes, this arriving at this oil platform shall be a breeze. I have a fine vessel. Where is my fine vessel? Oh no.
Come on, man. I thought you said there was gonna be a boat here. How am I supposed to surf without, like, a boat? I mean, I can just surf, but it would have been cooler to have a boat.
I know how I'll get you your boat. Smash cut to me rowing on, like, a one-person, like, rowboat, and you just sort of, like, barely standing afloat behind it. Sort of drifting towards the boat, drifting back.
Aw, jeez.
Yeah.
I can barely stay on top of this.
I'm actually going to ask you for a roll to stay on top of this.
Okay.
I think this is going to be a throw roll, but I am going to give you gimmick for this.
Okay. So that is a 1 and a 3.
All right. So you look extremely cool as you do this.
Yeah. So I think I just like, I think I'm like Superman posing, you know, with my arms on my hips, just magnificent. Like I get straightened up and then I just glide in on this surfboard.
Yeah, it's fantastic looking. Move 1 point from throw into show. And yeah, you look outstanding. You look like $1 million. The visual of you striking that pose as I'm like sweaty and like furiously rowing. And
it will all be worth it once we arrive in this like totally magnificent manner.
Oh, it's gonna be great. I think. Do we want to get to the oil platform or do we want to face a challenge on the water?
I'm fine with a challenge happening as we arrive at the oil platform, unless you want.
I think that feels good. What do we want the challenge to be?
I'm imagining just all these ships swarming because people have gotten distracted from the actual match by just looking for the title belt.
Mm.
And I feel like I'm also imagining like we're having like a pan out cut and the oil rig has like a steel briefcase hanging off of it.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, just in case the belt isn't found, then people can cash it in for the new belt.
Yeah.
But everyone's all distracted and there's boats, whirlpools are happening. It's a whole situation.
Yeah, I think I love that there is what I can only describe as naval combat among wrestlers happening. I'm specifically picturing the visual that I'm seeing is two ships like pull up side by side and a bunch of wrestlers all start doing topes from one ship to the other. And it is very impressive. It's silly looking, but also I'm like, oh man, those guys are really flying.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think we need to navigate around these ships if we're going to get... I think the only way that we're going to reach that station is if we find a way around this. I think straightforward. Well, my young friend, I ask you, are we going to fight our way through, or are we going to rely on discretion as the better part of honor?
I think we should cut through that mother boop red tape.
Nah, you're foul-mouthed.
Because, you know, you can't curse on network television.
No. Somebody's already said the one shit of the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Then I think that we're going to have to make throw rolls to, like, punch through this.
Yeah. Do you want to both do it and see how it goes?
Yeah, I do. So how are you punching your way through this?
I think I am going to try to do a sweet, like, 360 front flip with what little momentum I have and smash the surfboard into someone's face.
Love it. Love it. Gimme. Add your gimmick dice to that. I think what I'm going to do is dive into the water, sort of Metal Gear Solid or Apocalypse Now style, and like you just see my face periodically come up and then descend again. And like I'm like two wrestlers are fighting on like a chunk of on like a bar or something, and I just grab one of them in a full Nelson and pull them into the water.
Hell
and
yeah.
I'm just picking them off that way.
I got Snake Eyes, which is really good in this game for once.
Oh, and I got a 4 and a 2. So good. We both make it. We both look extremely good.
Yeah. I think I managed to somehow, like, we catch some wind or something, which doesn't make sense because it's a rowboat, but it's fine. And I do this cool front flip and just totally smack someone out of their little, like, metal boat and knock it over. And they're, like, in the water, and I'm grappling the surfboard down on top of them.
Dope. I think the wave comes from a wrestler on a jet ski that zips by, and, like, you time it exactly right.
There you go.
And, yeah, there's, what it is specifically is there's a moment where, like, you're grappling with the surfboard, but, like, a wrestler's gonna come up behind you and has, like, one of those big, the big wrenches, the kind that you only see in wrestling matches, so that the crowd way back in the arena goes, "Oh, that's a wrench. That guy's got a wrench." Somebody's got one of those and is about to hit you, and I come up and like sleeper hold them and like pull them back into the water.
Like, yeah, God.
And then like we just fight our way through. I would like to propose that we have the moment where we're both like fighting and we back up and we bump into each other back to back, and then we turn around and go, "Huh." All right.
Yeah. Do a cool nod. I think I like high five you as our backs are to each other.
And like, you offer up the high five and I offer up a handshake. I'm like, Oh, what the hey, no one's watching, and I'll throw you the high five. I love it. I love it so much. So I think there's a ticking clock here. Mm-hmm. And I think that ticking clock is that if the oil station is flooded, like, water levels are rising.
Yeah.
And I think that we've got to find a way over this water, right? Like, we've got to find a way. Like, it's water and it's oil and it's... I mean, you know, swimming through that is bad news.
Yeah.
So how do we make our way through these? How do we make our way through these flooded hallways of the station without getting stuck in sickly oil?
I think we just gotta make a go for climbing that oil rig. You know,
okay.
Like let these totally non-radical like losers fight over whatever this belt where it may be or may not be. If we get that briefcase, dude, like we have a sure shot one way or the other. Like it doesn't matter what we do in the water. It matters what we do up there. And like I've got this sweet gym bod that I've been working really hard on. I got this. Like we can make this happen.
Indeed, we can make it happen. Go ahead, make me a throw roll, because I think the visual that we see is like, I'm like smiling real wide, and I'm like, yes, we can make it happen. And then it pans to the two of us, like, it pans to you climbing as I'm just like Yodaing on your shoulders.
You know, doing all that, so is it a show roll or a throw roll?
I'm gonna call this throw. This feels like okay. we gotta climb.
Yeah, you know the bad thing about doing all those gimmick things earlier is my throw is a 1, and my lowest roll is a 2. So
that's not good.
No, it doesn't. So I just make a fool of myself.
Oh, I know exactly what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say what happens is we start to climb. You start to climb, I'm holding onto your shoulders like Yoda. But I think we're going to have a battle here.
Yes.
I think there's no way out of a fight here. I think that is... We were trying to be clever, but we've come into the domain of another tag team that decided to climb the wall.
Yeah, and someone definitely grabs me by my ankles and, like, yanks me down and, like, knocks my face against the ladder. And so I, like, fall back all stunned and my eyes are rolling in my head as I sell.
Your beautiful sunglasses.
I know, they're gone. They're the source of my power.
I would like to propose that we are now having a wall fight with a tag team known as the Spider and the Fly, and that is why they were climbing the walls.
Like we're in like a somehow giant shipping container.
Oh yeah, that's good. I like that.
Yeah. And so they're doing like some cool flips and stuff around. And I think I'm like, okay, like when in Rome, right, old guy? And I take out of my like board shorts, I pull out a pristine protein bar, and I'm gonna move a point from show to throw by eating some protein.
Yes, indeed. I believe this is precisely when in Rome we found ourselves in the spider's web, and the only way to outsmart them is by entangling them ourselves. Luckily, the spider does not realize that when it comes to entangling, none are better than quorum decorum. I'm gonna move one from throw into show by cutting a promo.
Excellent.
On the Spider and the Fly. So,
are the Spider and the Fly your rivals now?
I believe they are now. Yes.
Yeah.
So what has so I have to cut a promo. We cut back to a promo which I have announced what has happened up to this point and what our plan was all along. So what has happened up to this point? Spider and the Fly, you felt that your unusual alliance would rob me from the god of the grapplers tournament. You felt that having a run-in, you felt distracting from the ref. You felt that your insectoid trickery could take me out of the tournament, and perhaps you were right. Perhaps you were right this time. But the thing is, even the greatest tricks have a time limit. Take it from me, trickery is my specialty. So if you think that you can continually outsmart me, if you think you can outlast me, if you think you can outmaneuver me, that's fine. Play your tricks for now, do your little deeds and your little run-ins, but know that there will come a moment where you will stand against me alone in the ring, and I will be your undoing. I will eat you, Spider.
I think that's the end of the promo is the moment where Garth comes out of like the black background and hits like a gavel-looking hammer on the wall 3 times.
Yep. That's good. That's a good end of the promo. And so, yeah, we are on this shipping container. The Spider and the Fly, I think, have us surrounded. I think there's one on each side.
And I think we gotta team together to try to fight them off again, right?
Oh, for sure.
All right.
I think I'm actually going to roll show here, because I think what I want to do, and I'm not going to take gimmick on it, because I don't think it quite works, but I want to set you up for a really good moment where I think I want to grab the bottom of your surfboard and, like, drop down, so that I can set up in sort of a seesaw or a lever or a catapult for you to do a cool flying move.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to re-roll. I'll keep rolling 2d6 just by default because I was reading wrong, so that's my bad. But
it's all good.
Yeah. I have got a 3. I don't think I'm going to take either because I'm kind of just like backing you up.
I got a 4, which means I succeed at my show roll to like set you up to do an extremely cool aerial stunt.
Yeah. So I got a 3, which matches my throws. So I think we do something really cool.
Yeah. What does it look like?
I think, you like set me up, and I think I don't get to showcase because of your style. I think I don't get to showcase like my high flying moves, but I think when I was like a cruiserweight, like a smaller wrestler, I think I was known for like the tights and flights kind of acrobatics. Mm-hmm. So I come out of that and like do a cool spin into like a Phoenix splash and land on both of them.
It's dope. It's extremely good. And I stand up and I'm clapping and I'm like, huzzah, huzzah. Just like old times.
Yeah, so I will move a point from throw back into show.
As I will I have a show of 5. And so I think we found ourselves on this shipping container. We've eliminated that. We have squashed the Spider and the Fly.
Yeah, I was going to say splat.
Done. They are splatted. However, I have a challenge to propose. And that is that this shipping container, we didn't realize. When you were pulled down and hit your head, we landed on this shipping container. But the shipping container is held on a crane, and now we are spinning around the entire platform.
Yeah, and I think I say, hey, I guess I didn't ever, like, really tell you this, but maybe this would be a good time to mention, I'm kind of, like, afraid of heights, and this like, really isn't cool. Like, in the confessional style of reality TV.
When Garth revealed to me that he was afraid of heights, it really humanized him. You know, we had been tag teaming together for a while, and this was really the moment when I realized that he wasn't just a character, that he was a real person with real feelings and real fears, and it was on me to respect that and to step up to it.
I'm sorry, I'm trying not to laugh really hard. That was perfect.
Oh, no, laugh as hard as you want. This is fine. So, yeah, we cut back, and I, like, put a hand on your shoulder and I say, my young friend, close your eyes, like, duck into the container, and this will all be over shortly.
Okay. Deep breaths. Deep breaths.
Deep breaths. And I'm going to do a, I'm trying to think of how I want to, I know exactly what I want to do. I'm going to, reach into my pocket. Oh, I pull out the gavel from, like, it that's in my boot, like where you would store a knife, but it's a gavel.
Oh my god.
And I'm going to make my way, I'm going to crawl up to like the hook that's holding it. And I'm going to try to smash that hook at the exact right moment so that we get hurtled towards the briefcase and not out into the ocean.
Great.
Because that seems like a reasonable thing to do.
Exactly.
Would you call this show or throw?
I would call this show.
Okay.
'Cause this doesn't feel like a physical thing. This feels like you're using your acumen as a judge.
And I'm not going to give this gimmick because I feel like this is pure nonsense.
Yeah, the first laws were the laws of physics, really.
Yeah. That's a 2. That's a success.
Hell yeah.
Which means that my show does go to... Which means that... Oh, no. I have... well, okay, so it works. So we are hurtled... We are hurtled straight to where the briefcase is. We crash through a wall. You come tumbling out, and the briefcase is right in front of you.
Uh-huh.
And as you're going to grab it, you realize that you are alone in grabbing these 2 briefcases. And that is because my show has reached 6, and I am poached by a Hollywood agent to star in a reboot of a beloved childhood movie and 18-movie series about trains.
Do I look up, and there's, like, a man in a black suit and sunglasses there, and then, like, a woman in a like, very pressed, pantsuit or something, and they're handing you not a wrestling contract, but a Hollywood contract.
Oh yeah, and like I'm starting to sign it, and I look over the executive's shoulders, and I just hold out one hand with my hand extended, like, huh?
And I'm reaching towards you, and I'm like, no, Quorum buddy, don't do it.
I've taught you everything that you need to know, my friend. And I throw up, I like throw up the conscious or gesture with my fan, and I'm like, boogie on, bro. Boogie on.
There's tears streaming down my face.
I sign the contract. And I sign the contract, and in a puff of smoke, I am gone.
Quorum no longer cares about his outward appearance. Or, sorry, Garth no longer cares about his outward appearance. He's openly crying because his one true friend has left him.
Oh, but the briefcase is right there. All you have to do is grab it.
I think I'm gonna... Huh?
Oh, I was gonna say, but I think your rivals are... Who are your rivals? Because they are fast approaching.
I'm gonna just roll for, like, just a gimmick, because I do not know. That's a 5. They're magical. I'm imagining, like... I don't know too much about Midsummer Night's Dream, but I know there's, like, a bunch of fairies.
Uh-huh.
I think they're like the Hardy Boys, but they're fairies. So they're like...
Sure.
Punk rock fairy brothers. Like magical trickster brothers.
Will-O-the-Wisp, sure.
Yeah. And yeah, that's a great tag team. And so they like just pounce in there with their like bells on their, Jinko jeans, and they snatch up the briefcase and then jump away.
So, genuine real question. Side note, have you seen Jeff Hardy as Will-O-the-Wisp?
No.
Oh, Mikey, I need to send you a photo, which I will also put in the show notes. This was his backyard gimmick before he was a Hardy Boy, and also he did it again in Impact for a long time.
Oh my god.
Where he stopped being Jeff Hardy and became Will-O-the-Wisp.
Yep, this is it. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep, I heard your description and went, oh no, I have something for this. And it's better and worse than you could possibly imagine. Oh, it's very, yep. Okay, so I have a very clear picture of the umbrella spinning fairy, the Fey warriors that are approaching you.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, it seems that where there were two, there is now one. It seems that companionship is not your boon quality. Young Garth. The wayward surfer lost at sea, adrift in the waters of emotion. And they're spinning umbrellas ominously, and like one of them has closed their umbrella and has started like pounding it on their hand, like, what are you gonna do?
I think, can it just fade to black there in a very dramatic way?
Yep. That feels like a good fade to black moment. Oh, and so I feel like that feels like game.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know how we were like, oh, we're gonna do
both parts, but I feel like the story went where it went, and I'm very happy with it. I wasn't expecting a heartbreaking farewell.
Yeah. But there's totally have like a pay-per-view then that follows up with this, and Garth has like a really cool promo where he goes out on a lone wolf because he's no longer a tag team.
Sure.
And that Hollywood contract really felt like it just a knife to the back. And I was kind of thinking, I know I said Kenny Omega, I was thinking like a little like CZW John Moxley for inspiration as well. I think he goes full like Dean Ambrose.
Oh, he's got it. That feels exactly right.
Like a lone wolf exacting revenge.
And there's a huge moment like a year from now when Quorum has a movie to promote where like, you're backed into a corner and suddenly like smoke fills the ring and Quorum is back and like chokes somebody out. And the two of you just, like, stare each other down, and the crowd is like, oh my god, they're back!
Yeah, there's definitely a moment, too, where Quorum has a, like, movie premiere at, like, Grumman's Chinese Theater or whatever, and Garth shows up with a giant popcorn and a soda and just totally, ruins, I don't know, some essential memorabilia of the film promotion. Yeah. It's good. It's good.
I love these two, is the thing. I love them with all of my heart.
Yes.
Oh, this was such a good game. Thank you so much for playing it with me. I'm smiling ear to ear.
Yeah, same. Thank you so much for having me.
So real quick, before we wrap up, where can people find you and your work online?
People can find me at quantum ... on Twitter, or they can find all the various work I've done at quantum ... space. And that links to my itch and all those great things.
All right. Well, thank you so much again for playing it with me. This game was so much. This is exactly what I wanted and needed today, so thank you.
Thank you.
And for now, I'm going to throw it over to me in the future so that he can wrap up with the show. Take it, future me. Thanks, Fast May, and thanks again to Mikey for coming on the show. That game was everything that the premise of that game said it was, and I'm so excited that we got to play it. It lived up to every one of my expectations. I adored it. Now, one more real quick plug before I go into the wrap-ups. If you would like to hear more from the character of Quorum Decorum, September is International Podcasting Month, and every year, the folks at International Podcasting Month put together a feed of exclusive actual play podcasts featuring a huge cast of actual play and audio drama creators. One of the games that we played was Jeff Stormer's own Doing the Job, a professional wrestling game of people who lose but not about losers. And one of the characters that we played in that game was Quorum Decorum. So if you'd like to hear more of the character of Quorum Decorum, check out the IPM feed. You can find a link to that in the show notes. That drops sometime in September. I don't have the date in front of me. Anyway, be sure to follow Mikey on Twitter at Quantum. Be sure to follow Match Club on Twitter at MatchClubPod. And be sure to follow the creator of Tag Team Tag at JackDaw.tv. Then while you're on Twitter, follow us at Party of One Pod. Like the show on Facebook at facebook.com/partyofonepodcast. If you enjoyed the show, consider heading to Podchaser and giving us a nice review. I feel like I really just want the reviews in one place just to kind of aggregate them. So please go to Podchaser and leave us a nice review. Another way you can support the show is by supporting us on Patreon at patreon.com/JeffStormer. The other way you can support the show is by supporting the other show that I make every week. That is All My Fantasy Children. It is a podcast-only one-shot podcast network that is a tabletop-inspired character creation, storytelling, world-building podcast in which every week my best friend Aaron Catano Saez and I take a listener-submitted prompt, we spin it into an original fantasy character, and we populate a shared universe one story at a time. New episodes drop every Friday-ish at oneshotpodcast.com. Party of One is produced and edited, as always, by Jeff Stormer and Jen Frank. All music for the show comes from the song Infinite Lives by Megaran featuring the D&D Sluggers, and the Party of One logo is by Evan Rowland. If you'd like to inquire about advertising rates, coming onto the show as a guest, or about press coverage of the show, you can email me at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. And, I think that's it. So until next time, thank you so much for listening. Remember to fight the forces of fascism every single day. Remember that self-love and self-care are radical and defiant acts of resistance. And as always, party on, everybody.